Today's episode of the Status Escalate podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/SEP to get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Droid, or Kindle. Just go to audibletrial.com/SEP and discover what millions already have. Now let's get to the show. What's going on? It's your man Kahlee, back with another episode of the Status Escalate podcast, my music business show where normally I'd speak with various artists and entrepreneurs about their journeys to success. This episode, however, is going to be a little different. Before we get into that though, I want to thank everybody for subscribing and spreading the word about the show. To continue supporting my podcast, you can leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, subscribe and all that. That's the main thing. But ultimately, listening and spreading the word about the show is the best thing you can do to support, man, and it's free. You don't got to do nothing crazy. If you do want to go the extra mile, if you want to call it that, 310music.net is where you can get all my music and everything else that I do. Barsweekly.com, everything that I got going, and just support. If you dig it, support it. It's simple as that. I appreciate you taking the time to do that, and I hope every episode gives you more ideas and confidence to add to your career. So with that being said, like I said, the show's a little different this episode, so let's just get right into it.
I put in work and watch my status escalate.
Yeah, so like I said, I wanted to do something different. So this week there's no guest. Full disclosure, there's a lot going on in my life. Like there's probably a lot going on in yours, and really trying to perfect the juggling act that I call life and everything that I got going on. Though everything's going great, I really want to, trim the fat a little bit. So we may be moving Status Escalate to a monthly show for now, and got some ideas up my sleeve, some changes. But if you bear with me, promise you everything's going to be great. With that being said, I wanted to do an episode, I guess, based on some of the issues I've been speaking with friends and, colleagues about as of late. Always been the guy who would get questions and kind of been the business guy of whatever group or crew that I've been a part of. If not the absolute guy that kind of takes care of all that, I'm definitely somebody that takes care of a portion of something, specific to the business side of the music. Outside of making the music and the art side of things, I found the art and the marketing side as well. And I think that's really dope, and that's pretty much why I came up with this show. I had started working with this new PR guy named Stat from Status Escalate. And, that song Work from Gangstar, that's always been one of my favorite songs, period, especially from Gangstar. So, not meeting him, but coming up with the name for this and, everything kind of working out with Stat. I think that shit was pretty cool, and that's kind of where I went with it. Guests and talking about different things. I think that's great. I think every episode is a lot of information that you could kind of implement into the way you do things and where you're going in your career, even if it's not music, but specifically music. Of course, I make hip-hop music, so a lot of times it's going to be something specific to it. But what I've always found dope about the business and the way I approach it is where I get my information, the people I speak with and deal with on a daily is not always musicians at all, let alone hip-hop. So usually when I approach, my music career with information that I may have learned through a book, audiobooks, that's kind of my life is podcasts and audiobooks and music. You know what I mean? I always come with a different perspective and a different approach because the information that I'm learning might be from somebody who owns a restaurant business or might be marketing, but it's marketing on a whole different level. It's not just about Gary Vee. I know over the last year or two, everybody is this big Gary Vee fan. I mean, so am I. He's amazing. But at the same time, there's so many other people, even outside of Seth Godin that you could be checking out. And honestly, a lot of times the people who aren't as successful have those gems that are more relatable to you, because the idea that Jay-Z is listening to my podcast, I mean, I think that's great, but the truth is, it's probably a bunch of independent artists like myself, and I think a lot of the ideas that I come up with and that me and my guests talk about are really applicable to what we're doing in this level of our careers. And even, somebody like Jay could probably benefit off that as well. But, I think you get the point. So with all that being said, I just kind of wanted to go through a bunch of things. I didn't really write anything down, but I kind of just made a list of guidelines of things that I've kind of been touching on with homies. You know, it could be a quick text message. I got friends that I'll hit up, you know, shout out to my boy Cookbook. And, you know, there's just a bunch of people that I might talk to. My man Balance from Digital Martyrs, you know, he produced my last record. And, you know, these are people that I talk to on a daily, even my wife, you know, shout out my baby Delia. So it's a bunch of stuff going on, but always kind of getting different perspectives on how to approach things is really, I think, the key to coming with something different. And when it comes to hip hop specifically, but art in general, I mean, you know, that whole good artist steal type of thing. I don't know about all that, but I will say that if you can execute your art in a way that's never been consumed before, you will be successful once they catch on. Sometimes you be a little too ahead of the curve, don't get me wrong, but that's not what we're talking about here. So I guess let's get into it, man. The first thing is something that I've noticed happens a lot, and I got a lot of homies that do this. You know, over time, I've always been the guy who would get our music to blogs, you know, from the times of the Seed. Me and my man Uptown Sweet, I started, building relationships with certain people at blogs and things like that, sending my music out, learning about that. As my music progressed and I started getting a budget and deciding to pay for things, you know, when necessary, I started working with a couple different PR people. Eventually I found Stat, you know, and I've been working with him about 1.5 years at this point. And, you know, over the last year, I've it's not like official, but I've become kind of like an intern. And he's kind of let me into his world a little bit, as much as could be. He's not a talker. I've never been able to get him on the phone, but through the emails, and I've been able to do a lot of work with him, trade work, you know, things like that. Because the truth is, I don't got the money to be shooting him all the time to be promoting me, but he shows me a lot of love because in return, I'm able to do things for him, whether it's graphic works, things like that. I mean, I guess those specific details are unnecessary, but if you get anything out of that, you know, money ain't the only form of payment. And a lot of people, I mean, don't come at Stat trying to do the things I'm doing, but you know what I'm saying? It ain't always just about money with certain people. And if you could trade services, man, that's the way to go. You know what I mean? A lot of times your time may actually be worth more in the finished product being so amazing, but if people aren't necessarily paying that for it, or maybe they are, but it's a good way for you to trade with somebody who may need your services, and in return they'll hook you up with theirs. So that's kind of how I started with Stat. And over time, you know, he's got a lot of love for my music, and he's gained a lot of love for my music through different blog contacts and other, you know, media outlets. And like I said, I've been doing a lot, so I've learned a lot. So mixing the things that I already kind of knew, tweaking that based on what I've learned through other PR people as well, and just other homies and what they do. You know, we often talk about these things and what I've learned through Stat. I just kind of put together a few ideas, and I guess we just gonna kind of get going with that. So I wanted to talk about first, surprise video drops or song drops. You know, I think it's really dope when somebody like Beyonce drops a full album, you know, videos or all this crazy stuff out of nowhere, or Kendrick drops something and people ain't ready for it and like, oh man, Kendrick's dropping an album tomorrow, boom, it's out. Or, you know, Kendrick just dropped it, or, you know, whatever the case is. That's amazing, dude. But I think something that people often forget is they're not, you know, Beyonce. They're not even close to Beyonce. You know what I mean? They have a few thousand supporters, and a few thousand is great. Actually, a few thousand, in my opinion, sometimes is all you need. I guess it depends what you want out of your music and out of your art, out of your life. But the point is, depending on what you want, you need to handle your approach based on where you at, and you have to be realistic about that. You know, if I drop a video today and don't tell anybody about it, I'm confident I might get 1,000 or 2,000 views on it. But the truth is, that's just not the best way to do it anyways. I think there's a level of success that you reach when things kind of flip upside down for you, and it depends where you're at. And at this level, it's just better to promote it. Now, when you get to a certain larger level, don't get it twisted. People at these high levels, they have their PR people. They have their people putting out their new music or new albums to all these specific outlets. People did know the day before it was going to drop a lot of times, or whatever the case is. But my point is, we're not them. I'm not them. if you're listening, chances are you're not them either. And it doesn't mean that you can't benefit off of something like that, but it will not be as simple as just dropping something. Surprise, here's my new video, let's see what happens. So at the very least, I urge you to start building some kind of email list of supporters, homies. You got radio show DJs, you got club DJs, you got blog contacts, whatever it is, just genuine people who dig your music. You know, they don't got to be anything but a listener, a fan that digs your music. You don't even got to give it to nobody else or tell anybody else. But to be truthful, I mean, I think that's where it's at. They're called mavens. I'm a maven. You know what I mean? If I really dig something, I'm going to tell people about it, you know, and you know, compile a list of these, you know, separate it, name this contact list DJs, radio DJs, club DJs, you know, blog contacts, magazine, you know, writers, whatever, you know, fans, split your fans up by location, split all these things up by locations. You get something new, you send it out. You know what I mean? Send it to them at the very least, even if it's just a bunch of people. If you could get a mailing list going, I think that's the way you want to do it. You know, mailing lists are not outdated, believe me. It just kind of depends on your approach and how well you can really connect with your peoples. If you have a phone app, you know, like past guest Curtis King, lots of other people, they're getting their apps. They're texting you directly into your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Or literally get their phone numbers. You know, you're doing shows, have a homie go around with a clipboard that's collecting phone numbers of people or emails or whatever. You know, be professional though. As far as that, if you want to contact these blogs, I got a couple things that I think you need to know. And, you know, why not do, you know, various versions of this depending on who you're sending these things to. So I got homies who hit me up about this all the time. Plus, I talk with Stat, you know, and I talked with past, you know, PR people. Shout out James Dunn, Done Deal. You know, he's really dope, too. So I just kind of learned these things, and I've implemented it into my own guidelines for when I do send my own stuff out because, you know, you have to sometimes. So first of all, I would say, you know, blogs, ideas, you want your stuff on a blog. Hi, I've been making music for X amount of time. As far as this particular world, I've never had my shit posted anywhere. So you got to assume you're unknown. You know, you just got to kind of approach it like that. That's my opinion, at least. So if I'm going to send some music out to somebody, I'm not just going to go to the biggest names that I know just because of the biggest names that I know. You know, my music fits with something like Hip Hop DX, maybe even Pigeons and Planes or something like that. But the point is to look at it first. If you're going on this website that's got a bunch of like, you know, mainstream sounding music and you're making the grimiest 90s style boom bap shit, maybe that's not the site to waste your time sending it to. Because the truth is, you think it might not hurt because it's just another email, you know, in a pool of 1,000, but it might, because maybe they do look at it and maybe they do see that it's not your shit. And right away, that first impression could be possibly messed up. And now the next time you send something that might work for their site, all they remember is your, you know, you didn't necessarily take the time to see if your music or product, whatever that is, fits with the site that you're sending it to. So just keep that in mind. You know, that's not always going to be the case. Chances are, if they even look at your shit, they ain't going to remember you next time anyways, unless you do something so professional or so unprofessional, in which case, you know, but we're going to get into that. Also, so make sure the blog is for you. That's first. Some blogs have submission guidelines. You know, look on their website. If you got a list of blogs and email addresses or whatever, you need to go to those websites and see, man. That's just how it is. Some of these guys, I mean, I'll keep it real. I look at these guidelines sometimes and I'm like, dude, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? I don't even know, you know, something dot blogspot dot whatever. It's like, that doesn't have to mean that they're unprofessional or nothing like that. But sometimes they want you to jump through flaming hoops to get on a site that no one's ever going to see you on. You know, that's your prerogative if you want to be on there. I want to be on every site that's going to post me or support me, period. Because at the very least, that person who posted my shit is supporting me. So that's one new possible fan, you know? But you need to decide if going through these guidelines is really going to be worth your time. But if they got guidelines, you need to follow them, man. Because if you're not amazing, they may not only will they not post your shit, but they're going to like have some kind of negative look at you. You know what I mean? And you never know what that person's having, that, you know, what kind of day that person's having when they received your shit. And all of a sudden, just because you didn't put video submission in your subject line, they're all pissed off and they're never going to, you know what I mean? But yeah, so if they got guidelines or rules or something, you want to read that, man. When you send to multiple blogs, because you're probably going to send to more than one at a time, make sure you blind CC. Now, I don't know like what, I don't know fucking generation you're from, if you're like a baby boomer or some shit, but if you got an email, you should know what blind CC is, dude. That means if you're sending an email to multiple people, you put probably yourself in the to field. Send an email to yourself. And then in a blind CC, that's where you put all these other email addresses. That way, when you send it out, everybody on the email doesn't see all the other email addresses that you sent it to. And there's a bunch of reasons why that's not good. First and foremost, it's just unprofessional and rookie as fuck. You just look like an idiot for doing that, period. But besides that, now these people see who you sent it to. So there's somebody on that email list who wants to get their own email list and start spamming people or whatever. So they're stealing your emails. I know this firsthand because back in the day, that's what I would do. I'm like, oh, some idiot dim blind CC. Thank you. You know what I mean? Also, some blogs don't get along with each other. People don't like other people's. There are competitors. If they see that you're sending to another blog, even if they don't have a problem with that other blog, some people like to think that they're the only ones getting the shit. There's a bunch of different things to think about. But ultimately, it's just unprofessional. It's just a bad, party foul rookie move. You don't want to do that, man. So make sure you take care of that. Secondly, let's get into some of the things that you should be including in your email. You definitely want some high-res artwork. Don't send them something that's 200 by 200 that you got off of Instagram or whatever. Try to get them something that's high resolution. If you don't understand what high resolution is, you can Google it. You know what I mean? You want to get them a nice size picture. 1,000 by 1,000 is a good rule of thumb if you're going square. Something more or less around that. You could go a little bigger, but sometimes the email doesn't necessarily let you attach it, and I think that's vital. And, if it fits in the email, it should be good. Make sure it's professional. Don't give them no bullshit. And if it is bullshit, make sure that it's all pixelized, a bunch of squares and looking all ugly, but that's part of the theme. You know what I mean? If that's the case, cool, that works. If not, don't give them no bullshit that you made on Paint. You know what I mean? Some old school 60-year-old rap dude with, the chain in his mouth sitting in front of a tombstone. I don't know. This is some shit I actually seen. And this wasn't even just like 5 years ago, so don't even trip. But guaranteed the first thing you hear on the CD is, Anyways, let me keep it moving. So make sure that artwork is professional, man. Get it to them. Go ahead and pay. Build with a dope graphic designer or, just an artist in general and kind of build a relationship with them, man. I have many, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I do the artwork myself. Sometimes I, outsource to people. But it's a good thing to do, man, because you really got to get that thought-provoking thing. You got to understand, you can have the best material in the world, and you should probably think yours is the best. But if you can't get them to look at your shit and want to listen to it, then what does it even matter that you're getting on these blogs? So understand that. You want to also include some kind of bio about yourself, not like a 10-page thing, not even a multi-paragraph thing, but maybe a short paragraph, a little about yourself, maybe where you're from, what you do. You don't want to just ramble. Don't be like me on this episode right now. Get to the meat and potatoes, but do it in a way where it seems smooth. It doesn't seem like you're just rushing through it. It's not always the easiest thing, but it's something that you should practice and get through. Be professional at all times. Spell check your shit. You know what I mean? No one's going to trip if you have a little mistake, but just try not to. You never know what little mistake that you make or careless thing that you do is how it's gonna affect you in a negative way with that particular contact. Because remember, this is an email today can lead to a 10-20 year relationship with somebody, or it could lead to somebody who never licks at your shit for 10-20 years. So keep that in mind. Say a little bit about yourself. Also add a little bit about your project. Now, everyone's going to have their own preference. With me, and kind of, again, like what I've learned through the different people I've spoken with, short bio about yourself, especially if, now also, sorry to be jumping around, this is the idea that you're sending this yourself. You don't have a manager, a PR person, or anything like that. So if you're sending it yourself, say a little bit about yourself. Tell them a little bit about your song or your video, whatever you're pushing, maybe a little bit about the theme, whatever it is. You want to give them some information that they can use. Sometimes they'll just copy and paste it. Sometimes they'll use that information. They might even do some research and create a write-up themselves. You know what I mean? That's what you want, to be honest. So you want to give them that. Also, your social media links, do it in a professional way. I try to put when I send it myself out, I've had people tell me before they like it to be all the way www.twitter.com/Kahlee310. They like it like that because they could copy and paste it. So I guess it's, you never really know. There's no one thing all the way across the board. but fill it out. Maybe a couple people that you send to that actually post your shit request something specific. If they're posting your shit, do it for them. You know what I mean? But always, keep it professional and include everything you have. If the song is a MP3, never attach an MP3 to your email unless they tell you, or unless it's specified in the submission guidelines. You want to give them some kind of streaming link like a SoundCloud or a Bandcamp, AudioMac. I mean, there's a bunch of them. With that being said, on SoundCloud, if you upload something that says, this is my name, this is the name of the song, this is the name of the album, whatever, your URL is going to be 1,000 characters long. www.soundcloud.com/Kahlee/playlist/ this the name of my song, this the name of me. You don't want to do that, man. So take the option to change the URL, or to take it a step further, use resources like bit.ly.com or tinyurl. I like to use the Google one. It's goo.gl. And what you do is, you type your URL in there, and then there's a little button, you click it, boom, it shortens it. So it'll be like goo.gl/ whatever. And it's so much smaller and so much easier to place. And especially with something like Twitter, where you only have so many characters to really put something in there. You don't want to have no huge ass link. I mean, it just looks unprofessional anyways. But at least if you have the small link, it fits. You could type some things. You could put some hashtags in there, which is also necessary. We'll get into that in a minute. The other really cool thing is what I'll do, if I'm sending to different blogs or different resources in general, I'll use Google and I'll create a few different things. So say I have a new single. I'll be like, here's my, my shortened Google URL that I'm going to send to these blogs. Here's my, Google URL that I'm going to send to these DJs and this and that. And you can go in there and say you're logged in with your Gmail. You can go to goo.gl or not .com, goo.gl, and you could see all the things that you've shortened, and you can see how many times they've been clicked and everything like that. So it's a good way to see who's actually checking for you and who's actually clicking these links and, things like that. Short of SEO, analytics, software, and things like that, because that, listen to my man Beehive on the last episode. I can't. That's just too much for me. But get into that. Get into the shortening of the URLs. It looks much more professional, and you could actually track it and see where you have the support. Aside from that, say you're going for premieres. Now, premieres are dope. If you have a new song or a video that's coming out, you want to kind of secure somebody who's going to post it first. With Proof of Life Radio, I want to be the first to play every song if that's possible. I want to be the world premiere. I want to be the first place that this song was heard, or at least played, even if it wasn't heard there. You know what I mean? That's kind of how tastemakers are created, and eventually people want to have their song premiered on your website or your radio show, or their video on your video channel, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So build with people. Hit them up. Maybe sending an email to 1 million blogs that you've never really had support from isn't the way to go. Maybe getting a few people that really understand your music and, their followers and viewers and listeners dig your music. Maybe that's the way to go. Personally, I think that's the way to go. I'm trying to send my music to everybody, but I know who's posting my shit, and I stay, supporting them just as much as they support me. So I'll hit somebody up and request a premiere. Hey, this is a new song. Would you like to premiere it? Give them a few days. You don't want to be like, hey, I just dropped a song yesterday. Do you want to post it or premiere it? Nah, dude, you want to try to get it ready to be posted on the day that it comes out. You know what I mean? So you got to hit them ahead of time. And when it comes to premieres, you got to hit them even further ahead of time, because you're requesting if they'll premiere it on a certain day, possibly even a certain time. You know what I mean? And what that also means often is that you're not sending it anywhere else, not for a little bit at least. Certain sites I've had, they don't even care. They're like, yeah, we'll premiere it. We're the first ones. So they post it. As soon as they post it, I'll send it to other blogs. Or, I believe that's the way Stat does it for me. Some places might request that it's, posted for 24 hours before you send it anywhere else. Now, every big blog is going to have other smaller blogs who kind of have their RSS feed, meaning anytime two dope boys post something, there's a bunch of other blogs that it automatically gets posted on their site. You know what I mean? But that doesn't count. You have two dope boys to premiere stuff, great. If they ask you don't post it anywhere else or send it to anyone for 24 hours, you wait 24 hours and then you send it everywhere else, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how it goes. And you definitely want to follow that deal. Any deal you make, you want to follow that. And you build with these people, even if they don't have a lot of readers, you don't have a lot of viewers, you know? And as time goes on, you guys both build with each other and you guys both become successful. And now not only do you have a great site who has a lot of viewers watching your, you know, posting your video, so people are seeing it, and, you know, they have a great artist that's doing well and that's doing premieres with them, but it's kind of cool that you guys started from the bottom. Now you're here, you know what I mean? I think it's cool, but premieres are really dope. If you're doing a SoundCloud, a lot of times they might request a private link, you know what I mean, so they could check it out beforehand. And, you know, they want to have something fresh. They don't want to post it on their site and it has 1,000 plays already. You know, they want it to be low. It's like buying a new car. You're going to have a couple miles on it, but a couple, not 1,000, not even 100, you know what I mean? If you got YouTube, you want to use unlisted. Unlisted. So YouTube, you got options. You could do public, you could do unlisted, you could do private. Now, if I do private, it gives me the option to send specific people the link to watch it. But the email that I send it to has to be the email they use to log in to YouTube in order to see it. Unlisted just means that anybody could watch it if they have the link. So unlisted is the way to go when it comes to that. That's something, you know, I've known a lot of people to make mistakes. I've almost made a mistake on that note too. So you just got to be careful about that. Just pay attention to your to the people who are blogging. Usually they know and they'll tell you, or, you know, if you got a PR guy, he'll take care of that. I guess I'm sure there's a lot of other things as well, but I'm kind of just zooming through these. Lastly, I'd say, once your shit is about to launch, you know, here's Tuesday. I prefer early drops, earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Good blogs pick up your shit. It could be kind of rolling for a few days. I kind of go a little bit of what I've noticed in my experience, as well as the way I take in music. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the only thing you could do, along with experimenting and keeping statistics. But I like to post shit earlier in the week. While other people like to post shit on the weekends or like on a Friday, I don't like to do that. I don't know. My experience is done better on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But everybody's different, man. Whatever you do, just pay attention to your results. Try different things and compare your results. I mean, that's all you could do. So anyways, once your shit starts posting, most blogs will post it on their Twitter page. Twitter seems to be the number one thing. Some people post it on Instagram. Some people post it on Facebook as well. Go. Maybe they'll hit you with an ad reply. Maybe they won't. I like to search. So I'll search my shit. Every time Bars Weekly drops, I'm searching Kahlee, Bars Weekly on Twitter. And everywhere I see it, I'm reposting it. You know, I like every single post. And then I kind of pick and choose what I'm going to repost. I try to repost everything, but sometimes I'm fortunate enough to have like 100 blogs posting my shit. I can't retweet 100 retweets. You know, people will be pissed following me on Twitter. But I do my best to pick who, you know, kind of definitely the main ones who are always supporting me. If I see something familiar, I'm always going to repost them, retweet them. You know, when I go through there, search, that's something that I learned through Stat. You want to search your shit. I used to just wait for them to hit me with the at reply, and I thought nobody was posting me. And then all of a sudden I search it, and I see a bunch of people really supporting. They just, sometimes they don't know your social media links, even though you put them in the email. But, so I'd advise you to search and do that. Definitely like everything. But the whole point is, you know, I drop a video, I could put the YouTube link on Twitter, but why do that when I could just send my people to these blogs that are taking their time to post me? If they're supporting me by posting me on their site, the least I could do is support back by, you know, posting their post, posting their URL. So if you want to see my video, just go to you know, Two Dope Boys. They posted my shit. Here's the link directly to the post of my video. You know what I mean? I think that's the way to go. That's my personal opinion. You know, it's shared by a lot of people, including my PR guys. So I'd say go with that. Let me see what else. Do the same thing on Facebook. Whatever the case. You know, in a time where we have 5,000 friends on Facebook, 10,000 plus followers on Twitter, Instagram, etc., and we're posting stuff, and very few people out of that are having a fair chance of seeing it. You know, spread it out. If you wake up one day and 1,000 different websites posted your song, don't just repost them all, retweet all that day. Spread it out across the week. Have some kind of idea of a campaign that you're doing, man. Now, this is my personal opinion and the way I do things, and I have done some experimenting. I always talk with friends that do things a little differently. We always talk about the way we approach it so we could share and really see how it affects us. And also, different artists, it's going to be different from them too. Different locations, different levels of success, different levels of Twitter followers. I got almost 10,000 Twitter followers, right? Somebody got 20,000. Just 10,000 difference is such a game changer. So, just pay attention to everything around and, see how it goes. I guess that's about it for now as far as like the blog posts and getting exposure. Again, if you can't or don't have the time to do this, at least have a few people you want to send your music to. If you drop something, it's not just again, it depends what you want out of this. But for the most part, if you want more people to hear your music, watch your videos, discover you and support you and become a fan of you and your music and what you do, whatever your art is, you want to start compiling a list of supporters to where they can get it. They could get your music first or just get it at all, because I could be the biggest fan of somebody, but life is crazy. So sometimes I'm just not going to be able to get to it. You know what I mean? If you can give it to me, that's the best way. I'm listening to it at work, because I got it in the email or maybe even a text message. Maybe I got your app, whatever the case. So you want to do that. Let's talk a little bit about IG posts. Just real quick. Something that I learned a while back is just to pay attention. Like everything else, we're experimenting and we're paying attention to our results and our combinations of things. I could post a picture at 10 p.m. and get say a couple hundred likes out of nowhere in not even a half hour, right? For me, that's a big deal. I could post that same picture at 10 a.m. and it may or may not get the same result. Maybe it does get 200 likes, but it's after a long period of time. Again, we're in a time where people are trying to get ads sold. People are trying to get you to boost your posts, things like that. So yeah, they're going to let people see on your Instagram what you're posting. But if someone's not used to liking your stuff or they're really liking other things, like literally double tapping other people's pictures and never double tapping yours, I believe there are things like that and other reasons why you become less and less visible to these people that are on your timeline. You may see them, they don't see you. They can go to you, they can see you, but you're not popping up on their timeline the way you probably should. It's not just first come, first serve, or your shit gets posted in the order of which, or I'm seeing it in the order of which it's been posted. It's just not like that. And it sucks, but that's just how it is. So you want to maximize your ways of being discovered. One of those ways is hashtags. Don't be putting no stupid, hashtag follow. I think that's stupid. Certain hashtags, it's just stupid. That's the reason why you getting these, wild ass names hitting you up about stupid sex shit, or these spam bots who are hitting you up talking about great pic. Like, bitch, I just posted a flyer. What are you talking about? Great pic, beautiful time, beautiful feed. It's like, come on, dude, with the generic shit. Sometimes I get two different Instagram profiles that are the same person. Maybe it's a personal and a business page of somebody, and they're literally saying the exact same thing. So maybe you have a program. Crowdfire is great if you could pay the fee. If you want to use it for free, that's good too, but it's a lot less you could do. Automatic replies. For Twitter, I do automatic replies. So say if I follow you on Twitter and you follow me back, I hit you with an automatic reply. With that automatic reply, I keep it real. I don't try to fake like it's actually me. I might even say a joke about, if you want, hit me up instead of talking to this, cool ass robot, because it is cool. That program is dope, you know what I mean? But I've had people hit me back and be like, fuck your spam. And I've actually had somebody who said that, and I went back and forth with this fool. He ended up being a fan because I was just clowning. I'm like, what you want me to do, man? I'm just trying to get some fans, some supporters, some ears. But I try my best to do it in a way where it's real, even though it's through a computer. You know what I mean? Even though it's a program automatically hitting you. But all these other people do the same thing, and it's just corny as fuck. Do not demand me to listen listen to your shit. Do not downplay your shit to the point where I don't even want to listen to it either. Don't tell me it's the best shit in the world and then I listen to it and it's the most garbage shit in the world. Don't tell me how I should like it. I want to see your confidence and feel your confidence. You should be confident, but don't be overconfident, motherfucker, because you don't know what kind of music I dig, and that just shows me you're lazy. And I get it because I'm out here following people who I think is going to dig my music, but I'm not always right about that. And if I'm not, I'm not. It is what it is. To a certain extent, you're playing the numbers. Kobe Bryant taking 100 shots and making X amount of shots. He's got a low percentage, but he's got a lot of points. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like buckshots, but sometimes you need to really focus and hit that, laser focus and hit that target, if any of that makes sense. So with that being said, let's get to some of these cats who sometimes I get an @ reply from somebody I may or may not know, and it's literally just a link. A YouTube link, let's say, or a SoundCloud, whatever kind of link. Maybe it even say, yo, check my shit. It's dope. Yo, it's fire. Fire emoji. Here's a link. I'm like, okay. So I go and look at their timeline, and it's literally the same exact copy and paste. Yo, check out my song, fire emoji, URL, youtube.com/this shit's garbage, whatever. And everybody he's probably following, at Kahlee310, here's this message and link, at Platform Collection, here's this message and link, at everything. Their whole timeline looks like that. Man, that's the wackest shit in the world. I ain't never going to give you no time. And if you don't get blocked, I'm going to ignore you every time you hit me up. It's just not the way to go. So make sure you ain't doing that. I got a little sidetracked with the hashtags. When you choose your hashtags, you want hashtags that are specific to the shit you posting. When I do a Bars Weekly, I have a list of hashtags that I post specifically with just Bars Weekly in general, and then specifically with maybe the location that I'm posting it at. If I'm wearing a certain shirt, I might hashtag something that goes with the shirt that I'm rocking, or the gear or the company that I'm representing for at the time, or maybe the song that I'm doing. You did a song about Tupac and you dropped a video, hashtag Tupac. It just makes sense. And sometimes you end up with like 100 hashtags. You may not want all those hashtags right there. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll post my post saying whatever caption I want, and then in the first comment, I'll put all these hashtags. If you do something like that, I have Bars Weekly, I have Status Escalate podcast, I have Proof of Life Radio, I have a few other things. In my notes on my phone, which is where obviously I'm posting all these things, I have all these hashtags already, so I just copy and paste it. Boom, we're good. You might want to try to do that. But find the hashtags that kind of work with what you're doing, and you're going to notice people are going to check for you just based off that hashtag, because they have programs that kind of make them pop up or whatever. So you'll notice that you get more likes. Also locations, you might want to put a location, because sometimes somebody's around this area and they're just looking who else is there. Maybe you're at a venue, you took some pictures at the AC Lounge because it was a hip hop house show. You posted a picture, hashtag HHHSD, Hip Hop House San Diego, and at the AC Lounge, boom, people might just click the AC Lounge because they're around the area. There's just a bunch of different ways to get people to discover you and what you're doing. Also, you might want to make sure you get your live on, your Instagram live. That's another way to get discovered. Here's another thing. Maybe you're new, maybe you're not. I don't know the situation, but do you have a hashtag that's specific to you? I have hashtag Kahleagues. Peace to the Kahleagues. That's what that's about. You click hashtag Kahleagues, you're going to see a bunch of shit that's specific to me. Now, I know it ain't that easy for everybody. I basically made up a word. It's Kahleagues, but it's Kahleagues, rather than spelt the traditional way. A lot of people don't have that option, but when you're looking for you and what you represent and really what you're about, you want to try to come up with a hashtag that reflects you, that when people see that hashtag or click it, they think of you any damn way. It's got to match with you somehow. You ain't playing basketball and you killing the game and you hashtag field goal. That shit just don't make no damn sense. So you want to find something like that, but at the same time, search the hashtags. See if there's a million hashtags. You put hashtag blessed, it's like Max Holloway, hashtag blessed. Like, he's not trying to be found through that, but Max Holloway is on a large scale. We're looking at it like we're underground artists, we're indie artists. We're trying to get ahead, we're trying to get discovered. I have hashtag HHHSD for a hip hop monthly that I have. It's Hip Hop House San Diego. So you search hashtag HHHSD, you're probably going to see a bunch of shit about San Diego. You search hashtag Bars Weekly, majority of the shit you're going to see is Bars Weekly from me. But there were a few Bars Weekly, there was a Bars Weekly something before I started this. Now, just to touch on this, on some hip hop shit, it was done and hasn't been active for like a year or something at least before I started it. So that's the only reason why I went with it. But you look at hashtag Bars Weekly, you're going to see a bunch of my shit. You know what I mean? So if you can, just always be on the lookout for that. So you can have a hashtag of your own, basically, and when the time comes and you kind of blow up and get larger, everybody's going to know that. And when they click that hashtag, it's going to be all about you, whether it's you posting, a picture of you and your fam and you're like Kahleagues or hashtag Kahleagues, or it's a bunch of other people at one of your shows and they're like hashtag Kahleagues because that's what it's about. It's pretty cool, man. There's a lot of other things we could go into, but again, I'm kind of just throwing out these things that I've been talking about with friends over the last couple of weeks, let's go to a break, man, and we'll be right back. Status Escalate Podcast. What's going on? It's your man Kahlee, and I want to tell you about Audible. For me, I just don't have time to read much of anything these days, but I love me some audiobooks, dude. Over the past couple of years, I grabbed quite a few from audible.com. Audible's got over 180,000 titles, and if you go to audibletrial.com/SEP right now, you get one for free. That's one on me. One audiobook, and it could be anything in a huge library of books. I just finished this new book from Kevin Hart called I Can't Make This Up, Life Lessons. It's a funny, insightful book about, the successful Kevin Hart. I learned a lot about this cat, how hard of a hustler he is, man, and it kind of like the secrets to his success. I actually talk about it a lot in the show. It's a really good book to check out, and you can get it for free right now. Just go to audibletrial.com/SEP for your free audiobook. Now, let's get back to the show.
I put in work and watch my status escalate.
Status Escalate Podcast. I'm back. I usually say we, so I'm getting better at that. Back, man. Man, I know it's something different, and if you're a listener, first of all, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. I know this is a little different because I don't have a guest, and I'm kind of just talking. I'm actually tripping out because I feel like it's just been a couple minutes. I look up and I'm like, wow, okay, we doing this. This is going to be a full episode. Okay, great. One of the other things I wanted to talk about, we're talking about like the computer side of things for the most part, or your phone side of things, your tablet side of things, your laptop. Man, the most important thing these days is performances. Getting out there and really engaging with the people. That's one side of it, through the phone and your thumbs, what I mean? But the real side, the connection, the human, performances, man. You going out there, first of all, people always trying to get on shows, man. You got to get out there and just network in general. And networking sometimes just means showing your face at places. A lot of us got jobs. I got a job. I got a 9-to-5, and I'll be out there. I got a family. I got 2 kids and a wife. Lots of things on my plate. Got 2 podcasts. Got Bars Weekly. I'm dropping a video every week. I got music that I work on. I got homies I'm trying to chill with, family I'm trying to see that don't even live, anywhere close to me. All kinds of different things. Now I got a hip hop monthly. So there's so many things going on. We got to figure out a way for these things to kind of overlap each other sometimes, so it really works with each other. Everything's a dance. It's like a woven basket. And if you're not doing it right, you got all these holes in your basket and you can't carry shit in there. So look at it like that to a certain extent, man. Get out there, meet people, talk to people, show support at shows, jump in the front if that's your thing. If it's not your thing, that's cool too. A lot of people might talk shit. Sometimes I'm outside at the shows a lot of times because sometimes there's just too many people, I don't know, man. It's just my thing. I need that air. But anyways, I try to be up in there and support in my own ways. And if I dig you, better believe I'm going to tell a bunch of people about you, man. And that's better than being in the front of the stage. But everybody's got their own thing. I want to get into the professionalism side. Let's talk about that first off, man. When you doing a show, be on time and ready. A lot of times these people, they showing up all late. I remember the first show I threw, and I'm about to put my boy on blast. My man Shahid, Cypher7, dude, is still one of my best friends to this day. My man Jamal, shout out my brother Jamal, but his brother, a few years older than me, hip hop, Project Blodian. I actually put a show together when I was like 18, 19 for them specifically. Also my fan Buddha Company. Now Cypher7, that was the name of the group. These cats, I was trying to pay them $300 at the time. I didn't know what they was getting paid. This is just what I offered them. Being an artist for 10 plus years, I get it now. I still do free shows sometimes. A lot of people do free shows. So I know now that they fucked up big time on a real payday for them. You know what I mean? They were probably doing free shows all the time. I try to give them $300. They stroll in like 15 minutes after their set time, and they weren't going on first. And talking about, yo, is this a drink ticket? We got drink tickets. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So these dudes ended up missing their whole set. Everybody's going to be different, man. I'm late to work quite often. You know what I'm saying? I put in my time. It's a little different. When it comes to the hip hop side of things, I stay on point with my professionalism, man. I try to be there on time all the time. Sometimes most of the time I can't make sound check unless I'm on tour because I have a family, I have a job. I just can't make sound check a lot of the time. I do what I can to get there or have somebody there for me. But, that's just the way it is. But that doesn't mean you can't be professional in other ways, man. If you can make sound check, first of all, do it. A lot of times you there until like the doors and it sucks, but you got to be there. Meet the sound guy. He's the one that's going to make you sound great or terrible. You know what I mean? Buy him a drink. Smoke him out if you a blazer. Even if you not and he is, figure out a homie that can smoke him out. Shoot him a tip after the set. Whatever the case is, you might be back and you want him to remember you. You know what I'm saying? Or her. Get their name. Shout them out on stage, man. Don't just be like, yo, shout out to the sound guy. I mean, that's great. Because a lot of times, the only time you hear somebody talk about the sound guy, yo, sound man, can you turn me up? Like, I don't know, man. Go introduce yourself. Learn their names. Be cool with them. They'll pay attention to you. Keep in mind, a lot of times they're not even hip hop heads. They might be there listening to some other shit. They could care less about how dope you sound. This is a job to them. You're at your job half-assing it. Why wouldn't they be? Just because, you're rapping? Nah, dude. So keep that in mind. Give them reasons to like you and to actually put in the effort to make you sound great. Be there on time. Let them be unprofessional if anybody is. If you get there on time, the time they ask you to be there, and they're not ready, well, fuck it. You got to wait a little longer, but at least you were there, because it's better than the other way around. I recently had a show and, I'm not going to put the homegirl on blast because I got your back, sis, but you were late for your set. You know what I mean? You were late for your set. I gave you the set time in the email. Everybody had the set time. Then, so you're like 5 minutes late after I've been calling your name on the mic. You come up and you're like, yo, I got to go get a shot. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So we running about 10, 15 minutes late because you weren't ready. So, the show goes on and it's all good. And she came out, she did her thing, she killed it, and we'll work again. That's the homegirl. But you got to keep in mind that was unprofessional as fuck. You really got to be on point. And it ain't about the way you talk, it ain't about the way you dress. It's about the way you handle your business. And if your business is making music and performing and things like that, you need to do those things to a T every single time, if possible. And if not possible, understand that you might have kind of slipped and, apologize or make up for it somehow. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to be on time. I can't stress it enough. Don't go overtime. It's not the promoter's job or the sound man or the fucking the host's job or the DJ's job. It's not these people's job to tell you when your 15 minutes is up. If they told you have a 15-minute set, your set should be 15 minutes at most, period. And if it's over, talk to the person. Don't just wait until you're up there to keep going. Talk to the guy who booked you. Talk to your host. Talk to whoever. Yo, I got a 15-minute set, but my set is actually 16 minutes and 20 seconds. Is it cool if I do it? Usually they'll be cool, man. But you don't want to go up there and take advantage of people, man. You got to keep in mind. I can't tell you how many times I was supposed to go on at 11 o'clock, and the 4 people before me went like 20 minutes past their set time. Now I'm going on at fucking 12 o'clock or whatever, and I got to cut my set. It sucks, man, but that's the way it is sometimes, and it's because of them. That's a whole other thing of the way how you handle it. You know what I mean? But that's for another episode. But try your best because it really, the negativity really overflows into other people, man. You don't want to do that. Let's say you do your thing though. Let's say you rock this show. You're done. Everybody's really feeling what you did. Get out there and talk to people, man. Go say what's up to people. You got merch? Oh, you don't got merch. You don't got nothing? Oh, you fucking up. Because how the hell are you going to stay in the minds of these people who actually dug your performance? This is the first time they heard of you. It might be your last because you ain't got a sticker to give them. You ain't got a CD or a cassette or a button or some shit. Get a business card at least. get a little business card that doesn't have your personal info if you want, but have something to give to these people so the next day when they're at work talking about, yo, that one dude or that one chick that I seen rock the show, they have something they could check you out. If you could get them to follow you right then and there on Instagram or whatever, whatever your thing is, do that. But chop it up with people, man. I can't stress enough. People like, Dane Cook. You may or may not like Dan Cook, but you got to at least have an idea who he is. He's a huge comedian. He gained a lot of his success through directly engaging people online, talking to people, all hours of his day, through, DMing them and just really talking to them, man, and becoming basically friends, building a bond with his fans and his supporters. And that's the reason why there's such big fans and supporters of him, man. It's crazy, but you got to understand, if you do something great and people like it, the next person that coming on is probably going to do something just as great. And if they have a CD or a sticker or a button or a shirt or whatever, they're the ones that are going to get remembered, not you. So, what I'll do, I'll put some links. I recently started a company called Graftwork, and I'm getting prints done and, stickers, buttons, all kinds of things, posters. So you could go to graftworkprint.com. That's Graftworkprint, GRAFTWORK print.com, Graftwork. And yeah, man, hit me, let me know what you want. I'll see if I can help. I'll also put a few links in the show notes so you could check it out. There's a lot of things. If you don't have merch, we're in a digital age. Everybody's streaming, everybody's doing this. That doesn't mean people don't want to buy a CD. CD's probably the least likely to get purchased. Don't get me wrong. You got cassettes, dude, get you some cassettes, get you some vinyl. Cassettes you could get, it depends how long your cassette is, but you could get like 100 cassettes for $200-300. Some basic cassettes that look really dope. You could do that. You want some vinyl? Vinyl's going to cost you. You want 100 pieces of vinyl? You could easily pay $1,000 to $1,500 for 100 pieces of vinyl. Your first one around. Your next one around be significantly cheaper, but it'll still be enough. Look into lathe cut records. Those are pricey too, but you could buy them at a smaller amount. Just rough estimate, approximately like $250, $300 for like 50 records. You know what I mean? So they're still kind of expensive, but you're only buying 50. You know what I mean? Do that shit, man. People want to buy stuff. People want to support you. If you could give it to them, they'll take it. Clothing. And let's say online, you could go to these websites and sell things straight from the websites. I'll put these in the links, but I can't think of anything off the top, but they'll be in the show notes. There are websites that will, you could send people to this URL, something site / Kahlee310, and they'll go there and they could see the shirts that you designed, and they're available for purchase. And you don't put any money up. They might buy the shirt for $20. You might only get $5 out of it. But guess what? You didn't put no money up, dude. And that's a great thing. A big problem that I run into myself is I buy a bunch of shirts with my own money, and then now I got a shitload of shirts and I paid less for them. Let's say I paid $4 a shirt, right? I could sell them for $15-20, but am I gonna? Because if I don't sell them fast, I'm going to give a bunch of them away, dude, and I lost all that money. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it, man. But the point is, you want to get your stuff out. Every time somebody wears a shirt, that's promotion for you. I just seen this video. So it was like a prank video, and they played a prank on this dude, and homeboy was wearing my boy Enz's t-shirt, man. That was really dope. So I was super hype about that. But you could create that same thing with giving out buttons. I'm getting sidetracked. But anyways, you want to get some kind of merch. Be professional. Talk with your fans. Stick around the show, man. Don't just perform and get the fuck out of there. If you can, support the other artists too, because they're going to be supporting you. If you got somewhere you have to go, to me, that's understandable. Some people got a problem with that. That's understandable, man. But if you can, stick around, support. You know what I mean? Be nice to everybody. Don't matter how weird people are, how crazy people are. I mean, if you get a bad vibe, distance yourself. But try to be nice to everybody, man, because you never know who everybody is. And this is kind of a douchey way to look at it, but let's just keep it real. One day you meet somebody, they ain't shit. If you think they're just some nobody, blah, 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 however you want to look at them. The next day or, a couple years later, they're in a position where they could really help you and do something for you. You don't want them to remember you being an asshole. Don't get me wrong. I don't always remember people who were super cool to me. Sometimes, most of the time, I think I do. But you know what? 100% of the time, I remember when somebody was not cool to me. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be that, man. Make a good impression, dude. Make a good impression. And a lot of times, you know, I recently read in this, this audiobook, this Kevin Hart audiobook, really great book, by the way. You should check it out. Audibletrial.com/SEP, by the way, for a free audiobook. But he talks about it. When you really make good impressions on people and go into like these auditions, a lot of times you ain't gonna get the audition, period. You're just not. But what you can do is plant a seed and, water this seed and fertilize this seed to grow. Make a good impression, create a bond with these people, show them that you're a good person, you know, and that you're cool. And down the line, they may look out for you, you know, simply for the fact that you was cool. You know, it's down, I got this opportunity for this artist, or I need an opener for this big, huge show or festival or whatever. They remember Kahlee, you know, you were cool. You're not as big a name as this MC, you know, big name, but you were way cooler. That dude, he was kind of a dick. You're, man, so I want you to be on the show. I can't tell you how many times that's happened for me. I can't tell you how many times I've done that for other people, you know, hook somebody up with an opportunity just because they was good peoples, you know, so definitely always be nice, man. In a time where people have 100 damn shows in like 1 week. You know, the other day I did a couple shows with my brother Rick Scales, you know, Fresh State, and he had 3 shows in one night. 3 shows, you know what I mean? So it's hard sometimes because you got so much going on and you want to promote it. I think people forget sometimes they're on a certain level and they feel like they don't need to promote anything. It's definitely not solely your job to promote a show that you're performing at. That's why they call the person throwing the show the promoter. And I think a lot these days, with everybody forcing you to sell tickets and do their job for them, I think they really lose sight of that. But aside from all that, because that's a whole nother story, I think you really got to promote it, though. Not only so that you can bring people to the show, but so that people can see that you have a show. People see that you're active. You know, I had a homie come from London, you know, my man Peaky, from the Fresh State, came out. We did some shows, and I tried to explain to him he wasn't posting a flyer on his Instagram or nothing. You know, I'm like, at least post the shit once or twice, you know, because the whole thing is he's thinking he's gonna get fans at the show, and he will. But what I'm trying to explain to him is we're touring in California, Arizona, Las Vegas. You know, we're touring the Southwest, and my man is from a whole nother country, a whole nother continent. All they know is that he's in L.A. You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4 hour radius from LA is still LA to people out of the continent, you know, in a whole, you know, another ocean. So what I'm trying to tell him is, like, it doesn't even matter if there's 5 people at the show or 500. I mean, you get a good picture of 500 people. That's great. But the point is, all these people are seeing is that you're active, you're doing shows, you're touring, you're going here, you're going there. It's important and imperative that you post these flyers. You know what I mean? With that being said, you can't just be posting flyers. You can't just be posting, you know, buy my shit. You can't just be posting, listen to my shit, watch my shit. Gary Vee has a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Every jab, here's a picture of me eating my food. Here's a picture of me with my kids. Here's a picture of me and my wife going out to dinner or having fun somewhere. Yo, here's a show I got coming up. Come through. You know what I mean? Yo, here's a little video of me talking about my job and showing you what I do. Here's something about me, you know, cleaning up my garage. Here's me working on my plumeria plants in the backyard. Yo, I got this new album out. You need to check it out. Go to www.310music.net. You know what I mean? So you really got to balance out the promotional stuff with the personal stuff, man. It's important, dude. And that's really the way to go. And that's really the counter to this Twitter bullshit that I was telling you about, where people are just like, you know, hitting everybody on their friends list or on that they follow or that follows them, or even people that, you know, at Dr. Dre, yo, here's my hot beat, at, you know, all these at Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. Maybe he'll hear your shit, watch your shit. Maybe he'll see you and be like, okay, you're one of the million people doing this shit. So you just really gotta look at it from a standpoint of you're building with individuals, man. And for the most part, the things that you wouldn't want to do to people in person, it kind of translates into the, you know, the music too. Don't be DMing, you know, the editor at Hip Hop DX like, yo, check my music out. That's just fire. Because if you're approaching me on the street doing that, You ain't even gonna like, yo, what's up? Hey, how's it going? You listen to hip hop? Yo, my name's this and that. I'm do this, whatever. You know, I'm from Gardena. I'm out here in San Diego doing my thing. I make music. You know, you got a family? Well, check it out. This is my album called Blessed. It's, you know, the album cover is me, my wife, and my son. You know, it's just an album about me. I'm actually talking to them like people. I'm not just like, yo, you know, you post my shit, I'm gonna blow up, son. Yo, post my shit, because it's like, come on, man, think about it. These are people as well. You got to treat them like people. Just because it's the internet, people think that they can act however they want, and that's just not the way to do it, man. And before you know it, you're going to alienate yourself from everybody who you feel you need to move forward. And, you know, with that being said, you don't need any of this. You find your own lane. That's the best way to do it. The people who are the most successful found their own lane one way or another, from originality to, you know, the paths that, you know, the grass is all tall and there's no pathway. And before you know it, you've been walking that path so long, you know, doing these shows, doing these tours, making this music, building with people, that it's a, you know, it's a walkway now. And that grass that was once so tall isn't even there no more. And it's just there for you and your peoples to walk through. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I guess I'm getting too a little too sidetracked. I wanted to say about the promoting shows, you know. You got so many shows going on. With me personally, let's say I got 3 shows in a month. I got a show coming up on Saturday. Okay, I'm going to post kind of just promoting for that show. I try to post every other day. If you got more than one flyer, do that. Yo, you don't always got to post a flyer either. You could post a video. Yo, what's up? It's your man Kahlee. Don't forget, if you in the area, I got a show in San Diego at the AC Lounge, Hip Hop House San Diego on this date at this time. Come through. You know what I mean? That's a video. It's something different, but you're still promoting it. You do some Instagram Live, do some Facebook Live, do some tweets, you know, whatever the case is. You know, say if I got some shows, like I got a show in July, I'll post that shit now. It's June. You know what I mean? I'll post it every few days or maybe once a week or something. And as it gets closer, I'll start to promote more specifically for that show. You know, so as I approach the actual shows that I'm doing, I promote that show more and more. If I have too many shows in a small period of time, you got to figure out a way to do the proper promotion, not just to help the promoter, but to help yourself. You got people in this area, you know, people who want to see you, want to let them know, and you want to build with them more. So you got to figure out a way to do that, man. That's just the right way to do. You know, I guess I'll hit y'all with one more last thing before I get on out of here. I want to talk about EPKs, electronic press kits. You know, the days of going to Kinko's and creating these laminated spiral books with 8x10s and all this stuff, you know, that's just gone, man. Now it's all online. And that doesn't mean that you have to half-ass it, man. People don't even got websites. And I guess it's not always 100% necessary, but in my opinion, it is. You go to 310music.net, you're going to see everything that I'm up to. You're going to be able to check out all the press that I've had. You're going to see all my latest releases, whether it's my Status Escalate podcast, episode of Proof of Life Radio, the new Bars Weekly, a new interview I've been blessed to have, a new collabo that I did with somebody, whatever it is, man, that's just going to be there. Maybe I feel like, you know, writing a blog post about some shit on my mind. That's going to be there. It's all there. Links to everything I do is there. Why not have something like that? It's really simple. You could do it. Maybe you want to use Squarespace. I prefer WordPress, but that's my thing. You know, it's whatever, man. And you can get a free WordPress site, so I suggest you do it. Look into that. Get your electronic press kit, your EPK together. I use a Dropbox link. So in my Dropbox, I have a folder that says Kahlee's EPK. You know what I mean? And there's a one sheet. One sheet is basically like, it's literally one sheet. You obviously want to have some kind of pleasant looking graphic. You know, you want it to look dope. I have a little paragraph that kind of says a little bit about myself, talks about my main markets where I'm popular, talks about maybe a specific project I might be pushing, or in this case, my current one sheet is just kind of talking about me in general and all the things that I do. It mentions that I host, you know, I'm the resident host at Hip Hop House in San Diego. I'm the host and program director of a radio show. I have a podcast, a music business podcast called Status Escalate Podcast. I have a weekly video release called Bars Weekly. I'm a part of a crew called The Fresh State, where we have, you know, like 13, 15 members, international. We have somebody in London. We have people in Hawaii. We have all over, you know, it's all these different things. And then it says some of my credentials, I guess you could call them, people I performed with, shows that I've done, some of my accomplishments, you know. So that's my one sheet. There's more to it, but that's the point. So it has all that information, and then along with that, in that folder, there's another folder that has songs, has some MP3s. There's another folder that has links to some videos. There's another folder that has high-res photos of me. There's another folder with logos. Whatever you decide, you can always Google. Anytime I'm creating something, I Google it. I look into, people's one sheets and what they did and what I think is vital to my one sheet and create my own version of, those. Basically a Voltron of the good shit from all these different one sheets I looked at, all these different EPKs. So now I got this folder and it's Kahlee's EPK. Send somebody the link. I got my manager. He'll just send, he's trying to get me on a festival, or he's trying to get me an interview, or he's trying to get my music played, whatever. Send them the link to my EPK. It's a long ass Dropbox link. So what I do is go to goo.gl.com, throw it in there, and now I got a shorter link. And I get to see who actually opened it and who checked it out. So it kind of coming full circle with that. But get your EPK together, man. Or at the very least, have, a few things that people need to see in order to book you for a show. They're going to want to see some live performances. They want to know a little info about you, hear your music. Have that easily accessible for these people. And if it's all in one folder and one link to check out, that's the best thing. Man, definitely done a lot. I didn't expect this show to go so long. As I said, I think Status Escalate's moving to a monthly thing for the time being. And I really got some ideas for some great guests. We're definitely going to do that. We're going to keep it moving, man. But I didn't want to leave you guys without something. And I felt this was some vital information. It's really some things that have become second nature to me. And with having conversations with friends and, people that have actually really out there doing their thing, being successful and doing well for themselves, having these conversations with them and realizing that even they don't really know a lot of these things, I just figured I'd put it out there. And hopefully, these are some things that you could implement immediately. You got to drop tomorrow. You're listening to this show. I hope you, go and check out these URL shorteners, or, instead of just dropping your, video out of nowhere and you only got, 2,000 followers on Twitter, go ahead and, get some of those people's contacts and send it directly to them, whatever the case, man. But whatever it is, man, I hope you really got something out of this episode and every other episode. Thanks for tuning in, man. You already know what it is. It's your man, Kahlee. I'm going to catch you in a couple. Make sure you check out Proof of Life Radio every other Wednesday. Make sure you check out barsweekly.com. Everything I got going. Check me out at everything at Kahlee 310. That's Kahlee 310. That's Kahlee 310. Hit me up, man. Let me know what you think. Whatever the case, man. But I hope y'all appreciate it. I appreciate it. I hope y'all got something from this show, man. I'll talk to you in a minute, man. Peace to the Kahleagues.
I put in work and watch my status escalate.